Hello everybody, Shotgun into 1000 point for Tuesday. Welcome you back to more Pokemon HeartGold. You can see me here in the Pokemon right here. I decided off camera to do a little bit of shopping, and I managed to buy myself some more Pokeballs and also some more potions just in case of an emergency. In the last episode, we actually went through Violet City, explored as much as we can. As you can see, it's now nighttime. I actually am recording this in the night, as you can tell by the room being bright with my lights. If you're wondering what the light is shining behind the door there, don't worry, it's not sunlight or anything, so I'm not lying to you. It's basically the light from the landing. I should really turn that off, but whatever. Anyway, we actually went inside this house in the last episode and actually traded ourselves a bellsprout for an onyx. So this episode, after battling all the Sprout Tower sages off camera, we are going to be continuing onwards. And also in the last episode, I actually did mention you can get yourself encounters in the Sprout Tower. You can get yourself a wild Rattata, but also a wild Ghastly. And there's actually a member I actually want to use on my team. I want to make sure it's actually still on the Word document. Yes, it is. Ghastly is a member I want to use on my team, and I want to see if I can try and get him. So just run around this room a little bit. You can find him in here. Hopefully outcome. It has been a while since I actually held on to this DS, by the way, so you might have to forgive me if I'm holding it a bit weird, to say the least. Oh, here we go. Is this a Ghastly? Okay, right. I'm going to mention something to you right here. You can see that this Ghastly does have a Pokeball written underneath his name, indicating I've already caught one. True factor here. I was hunting down for a shiny Ghastly in a failed recording. I actually found one. It wasn't a great nature, but we ended up having a little bit of trouble because the game actually crashed and it didn't really work out so well. Right, so in case you're wondering, it is a bit risky to actually catch a Ghastly at full health right here, but we've got Pokeballs. Let's see if we can catch him. Because I'm not kidding. The very first Ghastly we caught was indeed a shiny. Yep! There we go! Oh, dear me. This doesn't really sound like a great reaction, but honestly, I am ecstatic. I mean, after the last Pokemon LP, which was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, where we found ourselves a shiny Rattata, but it was off camera, unfortunately. I mean, I was over the moon by that. I literally, not kidding, had the time of my life. Right, we're going to give a nickname to this Ghastly. Right, it's a male. Actually, do you know what? We are going to call you Joker after one of the Batman villains, because with Ghastly's evolution line, they love to play tricks on people, which is what Joker does in the Batman film. And the Joker loves to use laughing toxic gas, and Ghastly is a ghost type that is also a poison type that produces gas, because he's known as the gas Pokemon, so it makes total sense. So we're going to call him Joker. I'm going to save right here and now, because you notice that we are walking around in the night time, because Ghastlies, in case you're wondering, you can only find a wild Ghastly in Sprout Tower when it's nighttime. Right. Okay, there you go. Sorry, losing my grip here. Right, so let's have a look. What? Oh, not again! Sorry about this, people. This happens way too many times. It's like there's always a failed recording here. Right, I'm going to have to take it out. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm using my mouth to blow air into my DS Lite and onto the game card of HeartGold, so that way it can actually reboot again. Because on occasions, I've had many times where I've played the Nintendo DS game on either my DS Lite or my 3DS or my 2DS, and the game oftentimes crashed. And speaking of which, with me using my DS Lite, you're probably thinking, as I should have actually mentioned this from the very beginning of the episode, why am I using my DS Lite? The reason why is because at the end of the last episode, there's the phone's ringing, but it's going to be my aunt. My mum told me not to bother answering it because you can always contact my aunt later on in the day. I know, it kind of sounds a bit rude to say the least, but sometimes it can be a bit hard. Right, I'm going to listen very carefully. Yeah, it was my aunt. Sorry, aunt. I would have actually wanted to answer the phone and talk to you, but I'm kind of busy at the moment. I do apologise. Maybe next time, if I'm not busy, I will, no doubt about it, answer the phone if I hear it next time. So I do apologize about that, everybody. That wasn't intending for that to happen. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about. The reason why I'm using my DS Lite in this episode is because in the last episode, I was obviously using my Nintendo 3DS. But when I turned the camera off, I noticed that my DS was showing a red light in the power bar, which you see down there. If it was my 3DS, it was showing red, which means it needed charging, so I just put it on charge and decided to do the next episode on my DS Lite. I do apologize about this. This is actually kind of an eventful episode, to say the least. I mean, finding a shiny Ghastly and then the game crashed twice. I mean, on the plus side, we actually saved, so we've kept Joker right here. At least it's actually worked this time. It's actually allowed us to see what we've got. And by the way, this is actually not a hoax. I wasn't expecting to find a shiny Ghastly at the end of the failed recording, which I did catch, but then I ended up losing it before I got a chance to save. And this right here, same thing again. I wasn't expecting to find a shiny Ghastly at all. I really wasn't. Okay, Bashful Nature. That's actually balanced, just like Cyndaquil. And it's got 31 IV and special attack, Mischievous, which actually is really good. And in case you're wondering, the other shiny Ghastly that I caught that was actually failed to be kept, it was a Lonely Nature. Not a really good nature for Ghastly because they're not really physical attackers. They're mainly special attackers. They're not really good defensive wise, but I would have taken it. And by the time I was about to move on to the save, that's when the game crashed. So I do apologize about that, everybody. I really, really do. Because I wasn't intending for that to happen. Right. Okay then. Since we caught Ghastly, let's move onwards. There are some items to be found in Sprouto that I didn't actually pick up, because I remember last time when I did that in Let's Go Eevee, I accidentally picked up a Pokeball item off camera because it was a force of habit. Here we got an X accuracy, which is a battle item. You can use them at the start of your turn to actually raise your Pokemon's accuracy by a little bit. There is another item that you can pick up over here. This is another potion. And we are about to meet our rival once again. There he is at the top of the screen. Now you're going to see the nickname I gave him. Because I'll tell you this right now. If I didn't already mention this at the early part of the LP, his official name is Noel. But this is the name I gave him. Not Elder. You showed us what you've got, and indeed it is good. Take this technical machine. However, you should care more about your Pokemon. The way you treat your Pokemon can be too harsh. Remember, Pokemon are not tools of war. Oh, I actually did call him Noel. Okay, never mind. He calls himself the Elder, but he was no match for me. Sure enough, those who lecture how you should be nice to Pokemon, they cannot defeat me. All I care about are strong Pokemon that win every time. Is that so? Then why did he lose to us the first time? There you go, Noel using the escape rope. And speaking of escape rope, you can find one right here. Honestly, I'm actually not going to lie. I honestly thought I gave Noel his own name. Apparently I couldn't think of one, so I just stuck with Noel. Hi. So good of you to come here. Sprout Tower is a place of training people when Pokemon test their bonds, but build a bright future together. I am the final test. Allow me to check the ties between you and your Pokemon. So we're battling the Elder Lee. And yes, it's to no surprise he uses an entire team of Bellsprouts. But yeah, that's going to be a recurring trend right there. I mean, seeing the shiny sparkle of Ghastly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ghastly has a really cool shiny. But when it becomes a Gengar, the good looking shiny trend just gets ruined. It really does, because his shiny color sprite looks exactly the same as his regular color sprite. But I am still happy that I've managed to catch a shiny 2 main Pokemon LP games in a row. I mean, the shiny Rattata off camera in Let's Go Eevee, which I wanted to catch off camera, but I had to stop recording because my mum was actually arriving back at any second on that part. And now I caught a shiny Ghastly, which I actually have now caught on camera. I do apologize about the fact that my reaction didn't really sound too enthusiastic, but honestly, I was literally mind blown. I mean, my throat literally locked up, because I was like, I wanted to go like that, but I just couldn't because my throat locked up and nothing was coming out of my mouth at all. I wanted to scream out of my lungs in pure excitement about what I just got, but I just couldn't do it. Which, by the way, true story, I'm not going to lie. Every single time when I try to raise my voice so people can hear me, it always squeaks like a little mouse, and I find it very annoying. It's like you're wanting to let out your inner voice, but you shouldn't have a problem like me where you're age 23 and you can't even shout without your voice breaking and then sounding like a squeak. Because it's really embarrassing. I mean, like, you just imagine a fully grown man talking like a little girl because he's trying to raise his voice, but he can't get his voice any higher without it sounding like a little girl. That's kind of what I mean. It is honestly upsetting to say the least, because usually, this is actually a recurring trend, every man, when he grows up, when he gets to his teenage age, he does eventually have his voice break and become a permanent voice. Mine never did that. This voice you're hearing right now is the exact voice you heard. Actually, no, sorry. This voice you're hearing right now is the exact voice that I had back when I was 10. My voice has never changed when I reached the age of 13. It should have changed, but it never did, and I'm kind of upset about that. But anyway, going back on topic about Pokemon right here, we got Hoot Hoot, who can only be found in the nighttime in like the early routes I talked about in episode 2 or 3, whatever. And he's being a pain in the backside by using Hypnosis. As in case you're wondering, with Hypnosis, it is a 60% accurate move that will successfully put your opponent to sleep. And my opponent has hit with that successfully 2 times in a row. I know when I used Noctowl in Pokemon Colosseum, I hit with it every single time apart from 5 occasions, which were all off camera, I think. But, yeah. Right, we got another bellsprout. I'm going to switch Cyndaquil out for Pidgey so we can just finish off the job nice and quickly, because we are taking a long time. And yeah, off camera, Pidgey actually managed to learn Gust. He learned it at the level that he is right now. There we go. And now Pidgey's going to gain a level, which is really nice. Ah, excellent. The way you battle is quite elegant. You should be able to stand up to Faulkner. And you should be able to make good use of this. It is a technical machine called Flash. Take it with you. Thank heavens this is not a Gen 2 game, because Flash is actually a HM in that game. When a Pokemon learns Flash, you can illuminate caves no matter how dark they may be. You can try it on Bellsprout, for example. What it says there is actually true. Flash lights up very dark caves, like the dark cave in the Violet side that we actually explored when I encountered a wild Dunsparce. But there is a bit of a problem with that move. It was known to be a HM in Generation 2, and it's also known to be the worst move ever as a HM. Because yes, it lights up dark caves, but in battle, it lowers the opponent's accuracy by 1. And with you trying to use it on an AI opponent, you lower their accuracy by 1, but they still hit every time. And then vice versa, if they lower your accuracy by 1, you always miss. Right after you've had your accuracy lowered by 1 stage every time. And you're probably thinking, we are going to go into the dark cave this episode. Unfortunately, we don't really have the time for it. So, next time on Pokemon HeartGold, we will be going back to my regular Nintendo 3DS because we'll be fully charged by this point. Next time, we will be taking the battle to Faulkner, which we were told is the gym leader for this town. See you guys then.